Hey, YouTube, we are back. We are back with a very, very special episode. Now, we've had comments over time that we don't show enough CGC books, so this is going to be a CGC episode, and it's not that we don't have CGC books, we do. In fact, Jose has quite a few CGC books.
Currently, I have 70.
Yeah, and twice a year we go to Retro Rare Collectibles. More Jose than me, and he drops off. I guess you choose a number of books every.
Yeah, basically it works perfectly because overall saving up the money. It basically allows me to do 2 submission cycles per calendar year.
Yeah.
Spring, fall, and spring, summer, fall, winter. Basically in the summer and the winter. Basically the previous 6 months books from cons, from pickups at local places. I basically gather up the best of the stuff that I think deserves from a price point and from a collectability standpoint to be slabbed, and I slab it.
Yeah.
Hopefully I do well. Sometimes I do, sometimes I don't. And we're going to be talking in general about the submissions. I brought most of the books here. Not every book, but I think 22 books we're going to be featuring right now.
Cool.
So general comments. Okay, so I went through CGC, my usual default choice. General comments. I'm not happy about generally the Newton rings. And these are little kind of like oil slick, like multicolored little kind of looks like, if you drop oil on it and looking at a certain light.
Yeah.
It's a visual defect. A lot of these books have that defect on the book. Now, I feel of two minds on this. A lot of people would be incensed, would be pissed. I mean, they would be, demanding their money back or the thing to get resubmitted without that. I mean, I don't want to go through the house and stuff like that. I paid up my money. What I care about is that the grade of the book is fine, and that, like the case is otherwise in good condition. Bearing that in mind, like I said, a lot of people would say when it comes to selling, you might have a more difficult time, with with a book that doesn't have that, but so be it. Okay, so without getting further ado, since we have a lot of books, let's get into the first book. These books are going to be in no particular order, just issued at random. This is a local pickup, Batman. This is my second oldest copy of Batman. I have one issue that's earlier, just a couple issues earlier. 126 is my oldest Batman. This is Batman 129. It's a book from 1960, February 1960. So early 1960s book. I thought it would be a 5.0, so it came back a full grade lower. Now, I didn't account for specifically the condition of the corners. Actually, the bottom right corner is completely missing. It's got a couple centimeter little tiny
chunk
corner
missing.
Yeah, the tip basically, the tip in a little bit. It's a centimeter or two, and there's a little ding by the top corner. Otherwise, very well presented copy. Good color strike, not gray. Decent spine, not bad. Slight roll with a couple of few takes, but like overall a decent, good condition book. I paid a lot of money for it. I made a mistake on this one. All in, I think I'm at something like a little over $200 US, $210 US. That's my all-in price. And
now, when you say all in, is that including getting it slabbed?
yes, exactly. So all in about a little over $200 US on this book. Currently on the Overstreet, that would guide out $126 US. And on the eBay, they're currently dropping for, believe it or not, only about 135, 140 bucks. So it goes to show, like, you can overpay. So this is definitely, we'll have to put this one in the loss column. What can you do?
For the time being, anyways. But Batmans will continue to increase.
Always, and now it's preserved.
It's a good starting point. A 4.0 is a solid copy. I mean, 4s are the new 6s.
Yeah, for sure. Okay, so next up we have a real nice copy. Nice mid-grade copy of Aquaman number 29.
Well, I would describe it as a low mid-grade. What I mean by that, 5 and 5.5s are you consider low mid-grade copies. Okay, yeah, and you're right. This is Aquaman Volume 1, issue number 29. And of course, this is a big book because, of course, the first Aquaman movie starring Jason Momoa drops at the end of this year, I believe November or December. And of course, the main baddie, the villain, of course, is his half-brother Orm, or Ocean Master. So this book is blown up big time. So obviously, I'm trying to stay ahead of the curve. I picked it up. Did I pay too much? Okay, so what am I in for it for? With slabbing, I think I'm in for it for $240 Canadian, which is about, I don't know, something below $175, $185 US. In any case, currently for this book, for the Overstreet, it's $100, which, like I said, it is what it is. The new guide comes out in a few months. Obviously, it's not that anymore. Comic Book Realm also has it a $126 US. Currently on eBay, they're averaging like a 5.5 grade. I did a search on it. They're dropping on average for about $235 US. So, that's not bad.
Slab.
So yeah.
Slab 5.5s, 235, 240. So you know what? It's only
books-
the books.
gonna
The books
show-
cresting.
yeah.
It's gonna show. It's gonna do the rising tide flow tall boats. Like I say,
and
the
they'll have
speculators
the-
already been in there and getting every decent copy graded. Okay, how happy am I getting a 5.5? Well, you know what? I wasn't willing to pay the premium that already exists and has existed for a while now, for a few months, as far as this title is concerned. So I got a low mid grade. I paid under for what it's currently trading for, and it's only going to go one way up. Now we'll have to see if after the movie drops, whether it's going to drop down, how far much it's going to drop down, how much it's going to settle. It'll probably settle at a higher low as far as what the range of the thing is going to be, but it's obviously going to be higher than what it is now. It's hard to take stock of price-wise of something that's kind of like cresting. I mean, things will go by
Yeah.
fits and starts. I undergraded. I thought mine would come back very fine. Mike was looking it over. It's got some spine roll, and it's got some, light
Little
rubbing
off
along the
register,
spine.
yeah,
It's
yeah.
off register a little bit. There's some blunting to the corners, but I thought it was at least a fine plus. But I mean, I'm off on grade. But again, it goes to show subjective.
It's beautiful.
It's a nice looking copy, and it's got good eye appeal. So that's all I can ask of a book.
Like I always say, it's good enough for the girls we go out with.
I would look at it.
Okay, next up, and this is, I gotta be honest, this is the earliest Sergeant Fury I've ever seen. And wow, Jose, this is a really, really nice book.
I thought so, or in other words, what I would call the best looking 6 I've seen in a while.
For sure.
Yeah.
I could say, just briefly summarize by saying, on my part anyway, expectations were higher. I graded
I
it.
think so.
I graded it eyeball about something about an 8. I thought at least a 7.58, and then coming back at 6. Whoa, I'm into this so deep. I'm going to be underwater. I'm drowned. All I can say is, well, it's a minor first appearance of Percival Pinkerton. And again, I've talked about this book. Like I said, I mean, I'm into it for about $285 with fair market value on a book that will currently, let's say, 113 of the comic book realm, and about $48 US on Overstreet. And Go Collect GP, I have it about $55-$60 US for a 6.0 slabber.
Okay, so just to click, a Sergeant Fury number 8 in a 6.0 on Overstreet is how much?
On Overstreet, it's about $48. On the realm, it's $113. And well, what can I say about this book? I'm so underwater on it that I will never get out of it. All I can say is this is what this hobby teaches you: be humble. I've gotten the best, my favorite Fury cover, but I paid a very high price for it, of course. But having said that, you know what? I'm going to keep it. It's never going to go anywhere. I love this Kirby cover. I just wish I wasn't not into it for that much, but what are you going to do? Again, I also talked about the other key factor of it, that in my opinion, it's the first appearance coinciding with Avengers issue number, I think it was 6. It came out the same month as far as Dr. Zemo or Baron Zemo.
Yeah.
But I made the argument that it should be co-first appearance, or anyway, refer back to that episode. We talk about this.
We talk about it, yeah.
This book in depth. So into it for a ton. Never gonna get out of it. Well, at least I got my favorite Fury cover. What can I say? Who knows? Anyway, it's my favorite cover.
Yeah, and I wouldn't go so far to say you'll never get out of it. It may be a few years before you get your money back. I mean, the comic,
Generations, maybe.
but nice book, just the same, Jose. Too bad, we all overpay from time to time.
Absolutely.
Hopefully not by that much.
Okay, next up, we got a nice copy of Amazing Spider-Man number 51. Jose.
Yeah, solid mid-grade copy for a Silver Age book. Of course, we all know that Amazing Spider-Man 51 is the second appearance of Kingpin and his first cover appearance. It's a nice pickup. I remember exactly where I bought it, and I was very happy to have paid what I paid, but maybe, I don't know. I paid for it $240, $60 for grading. It's $300, that's about $2.25 US. Current breaks for this, let's take a look. On Comic Book Realm, I'm okay. They say $320 US.
For a 6.5.
6.5. Overstreet, not so much. $70.
What?
Yeah.
Wow, what a
Okay.
difference.
Now, on eBay, they're averaging for the last 3 months, 6.5s, they're selling for about $180 to $200 US.
Slabbed?
Slab.
Okay.
6.5s. Okay, so you know what? It is what it is. There is a lot of Amazing Spider-Man out there. You can have your pick. I mean, for this copy, there's 857 universally graded copies, of which 67 of them are 6.5. As far as where I stand in on the ranking, I'm at top 75%, which that means that 3 out of every 4 copies are better in the census than my copy.
Yeah.
I'm
yeah.
at 75%, so I'm better than 1 in every 4 copy. I'm in that last top of the fourth kind of percentile. But I mean, nevertheless, a solid mid-grade copy for the second appearance of a major Spider-Man, actually a major kind of Marvel villain. We consider the Kingpin for Daredevil and other things. It's a nice pickup for me, even though, you know, considering 200, so I consider that a wash. If I'm in at 2.25, so $200, okay, it's a break even almost.
Right now you've broken even, and as you said, Kingpin, a major Spider-Man nemesis. You can expect it to increase steadily over time.
No, I just got to find books now to going up the grading ladder to make up for that Sergeant Fury.
Yeah. Well, you're in my wheelhouse because you know I love Amazing Spider-Man, right?
That one was for you, Mike. Dedicated to you.
Maybe
Yeah.
I'll think about it.
It's better than the copy I have, Jose.
Yeah, you have a copy of this?
No, I don't.
There you go.
Okay, I'm a big fan of this book. I'm also jealous of both you and Mike because you both have this book and I don't.
I need to compare now.
Well, of course, we're talking about Fantastic Four number 36, the first appearance of that femme fatale Medusa. You see her right there, of which she's using her hair to anchor herself to some unforeseen object outside of the picture plane of the cover here.
Yeah.
And hanging off her hair, of course, is Paste Pot Pete, who's doing his glue gun thing on the thing, who's noticed that they're getting broken into. Of course, there you also have the Frightful Four pair. You have the Wizard, and lastly, but not leastly, Sandman. They're
Nice.
crashing the reception there of their engagement party between Reed Richards and Sue.
Hey, who's that guy? I've never seen any of those books before.
Okay, so we're continuing on. This is another mid-grade Silver Age book. Okay, so I'm into it, 2.25 Canadian plus 60, so that's something a little under 300, so a little around $200 US. Well, how does that figure? Okay, Overstreet at this grade it's about $1.50, and on the Realm they're crazy. They've got $500. That's wishful thinking. The stock on all the Inhumans is going one way down, 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 down.
TV shows.
Utterly unimpressive TV show. Now that the House of the Mouse Disney has bought out the film library of 20th Century Fox and getting the character lines for people like the X-Men, which are definitely going to put the Inhumans into the backseat. In other words, they're going to be starters. These guys are going to be on the bench or worse. I mean, if the show doesn't improve or not get picked up, they're nowhere. So it's sell on all the Inhumans, but I'm a long-term guy. I wanted this book. I paid a reasonable price for it, but like I said, the price is going one way down. Currently, fair market value for this book is about $200 US in this grade. Let's look at the census. There's 737 copies at the universally graded 6.5, of which 52 are 6.5 fine plus copies. As far as where am I ranking, I'm in top 64%. So 64% of the copies in the census are better than my copy. So it's a decent, again, solid mid-grade copy where you don't want to put in a lot of money, especially with something like this when you have the turbulence of the stock of a certain brand or character going down. Well, what are you going to do?
What can you do? And so just to make sure I understood this correctly, you're into this book, including slabbing. How much did it cost you?
2.25 plus another 60, so about 285 Canadian, which is something about $200 US.
Yeah.
200 US, and slab 6.5s are currently selling in the market for
About $200
okay. So you're not up. You're
now at
in
this
the range.
point, but
They're dropping.
They're
is what he's
dropping,
saying.
is what I'm saying.
What
and
he's saying is that
Yeah.
it's losing its popularity right now. But I would digress and say
Because
that if
the,
you're a Fantastic Four comic book guy, it's still going to hold value in the long run.
Well, you know,
And yes, the show sucks, but
show
No.
show blows.
Well, the show blows, but further down the road, and maybe they revamp it, maybe
Yeah.
it's rewritten or done into a movie, and then it spikes.
I'm just
again.
saying for the branch or genre they're in with kind of like mutants and stuff like that, they're definitely the B character kind of
Yes.
team.
Yeah.
Then
They're never
to the
gonna-
X-Men, they're never
Yeah.
going to be starting lineup. They're always
Yeah.
going to be
We were hoping
off the
a little
bench.
too much high hopes for the show,
Cool.
basically, was leaned on that. Yeah.
Anyways, cool slab. Anyways, Jose. Okay, so one of the ultimate gold keys, if not the ultimate gold keys, although we could argue on that. I'm a kind of a Star Trek fan myself, but hell, Jose, this is an absolutely spectacular book, and I'm very, very jealous.
I remember when we featured on that episode, it's a comic book. I believe it's Fan Expo, although I could be mistaken. Picked up at a very reasonable price, $120 Canadian, another 60, that's 180. It's about 135 US converted. Very favorable pricing for a nice, solid mid-grade copy. It's interestingly enough, not a high census book, and by that I mean there's about only 139 universally graded copies out there, of which there is about 6.5 copies. So in the census, 71% are better, but again, it's a low census. But again, this book has a reputation of being scarce in the higher grade, so anything about a VF, okay? 6.5 is a solid mid-grade. Now, it's funny, when I was doing some notes for this book, I saw a couple of weeks ago anyway, somebody had a 6.5, the only 6.5 CGC slab copy at the time, and they wanted $650, which is crazy, okay? There's no book that I would consider paying $100 US a point for a book. Well, maybe something like, Hulk 181, First Wolverine.
Something like that.
First Full Wolverine or something like that I might consider, but not a book like this. No disrespect to Dr. Solar. So let's take a look at it. I would consider fair market. Actually, I looked at it. They're dropping for about 2.25, something like that, US.
Okay, just let me clarify. 2.25 in a 6.5
grade
slab.
Slab, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I've seen them for as high as to about 300 you could pull maybe out of it. That's the range you'd be looking at. So about 2.25, 2.5, up to $300, not $650. Sorry, dude, you wishful thinking.
Wishful thinking.
Yeah.
He's not gonna hit his mark yet.
Yeah.
But still, Richard Powers, great cover. Yeah, I mean, I know why this cover would make you jealous. It's a fantastic cover.
It's one of the nicest painted covers I've seen. Well, it's art. Put it that way. It's very 60s psychedelic art. For me, it is anyways.
Art. It screams
Yeah.
the time and era.
Yeah,
Just looking at it.
it's a harder book to pick up than you would think in the higher grade. And from 1962, it's a tough pickup to get in anything above a VF, and then you're paying big bucks.
Well, you got a slab Dr. Solar #1 and a 6.5. There's nothing to slouch over, Jose. I mean, for me, I'd be very proud of it, and I think it's a fantastic book.
Picked up at the right price. I'm in the black with this one.
Nice.
Thanks for bringing it in, Jose. That's spectacular. Okay, as we increase, the grades increase, and now we got a real nice copy of Adventure Comics number 290.
Yep. It's my earliest adventure comics. It's I think the last 10-cent issue in the run. Predicted grade, I thought it was come full VF 8.0. Maybe that was a little optimistic, but I think the main feature to focus on here is the solid one color backgrounds, and this a bright orange. Look at the top quadrant of the title there by the Comics Code thing. You see how it's noticeably less orange in that quadrant. That's where you get some fading, some uneven fading, stuff like that, and that's I think the main reason why this is not a higher grade. In other words, a 7.58.
Yeah.
All things being equal, if that was a solid cover all the way around with a deep orange, it's a solid VF all day long. All into this book, I'm about a little under $250 US. Let's look at Overstreet, and this grade, it's about $165 US. On the comic book realm, it's about $275, and currently they're dropping on this grade in eBay for about $2.25. So another more or less kind of wash. Or
Broken even.
broken even or
Broken
a
even.
push. Still, I hate that sometimes CGC makes mistakes here. They on the header or the notes here where Paul takes a closer look, they say this is the first appearance of Sunboy. I believe it's the origin of Sunboy. First appearance of Sunboy is in Action Comics issue number 276.
That's right.
Yeah, I know that because I featured my earliest Action Comics is 277, and I knew that book had a lot of first appearances for Legionnaires, including Sunboy, Brainiac 5, Phantom Girl. So they've got it wrong here. It's not the first appearance of Sunboy.
Yeah,
okay, so that kind of stuff, it upsets me a little bit when it confuses people.
To be the professional.
Yeah, I think there's probably hired some college students for the summertime or something like that.
But the thing is, every book that is issued of this book, it has the same incorrect information. So you're saying they're consistently in there labeling something incorrectly, which is not a good thing.
No, not at all.
Yeah, I have a feeling. I mean,
Just
again,
give your money back. Just
we
leave
don't.
that alone.
We're not doing this to bash CGC. We're doing this to hopefully help them improve their service.
And by the way, this is one of the books that's got some of the most Newton rings on it. When viewed in a raking light, it looks like a spiderway Kirby crackle over the almost the entire surface of the slab. So again, that's a production flaw, and I mean, I can't take anything but umbrage that I paid as much as I did, and I waited, and I got substandard product from a manufacturing display standpoint.
Yeah.
But what are you gonna do?
So it looks like,
rolling mercury.
well, and like, again, if CGC doesn't do something to address that, eventually CBCS is going to come in and eat
Exactly.
their lunch. So yeah, they got to be careful to do that. But Jose, book from 1961, 10-cent cover, a grade of 7. I think you're okay.
I did okay in considering that. And another last point to feature on this book, this is my first superhero 10-cent book. I mean, I had bought some Good Girl and other miscellaneous books, but this is my first superhero 10-center.
Okay, so next up we got a very nice key here, Avengers number 83. And I know we've discussed this before. Jose, I'm just going to let you get down to it because you're better at explaining the first appearance schematics than I am.
Okay, well, we don't want to get on a long digression of what this is. Just let's face it, let's say that is one of the 3 books that are considered the first appearance of the character of Valkyrie, the other 2 being, of course, in the Defenders and Incredible Hulk titles. Refer back to the issue where I first showed this book. Okay, it's a comic book again. I believe it's Toronto Comic Book Show. Again, this one came in almost exactly what I graded for. I thought it's an 8, so it came back a half grade under. I'm into it for $160 Canadian, which is about $120 US in conversion rate. At a 7.5, it's pretty good. Pretty good is a pretty relative term. So let's do the breaks on this. Okay, currently in the CGC census, there's 382 graded copies. 7.5, there's 25 copies. Again, top 76%. So there's 3 out of every 4 copies roughly in the census that are better than mine, but what are you going to do? I did not pay a lot for this book, okay? So, I mean, current for market value for this book at this grade is about $1.25 US. So, you know, again, I'm into it, but I'm into it not so much that it's basically comes down again to about a wash, I would say, or a push, if you want to call it that way.
You haven't made anything yet, you haven't lost anything yet, but
it's been spent as far as the source of this, unless Valkyrie makes an appearance in the Infinity War that's significant, which we have not seen, and we would not offer no spoilers. Or it's already come out, so please, people, don't ruin it for us by sending us any kind of spoilers. Yeah. But I mean, it's a nice pickup for me. I really enjoyed Thor Ragnarok, and again, to end this episode, I picked up actually probably my favorite Avengers cover, which is saying something.
For sure.
This, as far as John Buscema, it's one of my favorite covers, and I think it's probably my favorite Avengers cover. At least it is right now, anyway.
My favorite is the Taskmaster, but this is close, very close.
That's a John Byrne issue, which it's a great book. But actually, if I remember correctly, I pulled the gun a little bit too quickly. I bought a lower grade copy, and I felt so sorry for you. I flipped it to you for free, man. I just gave you that book because you'd only picked up like 1 or 2 books.
That was a comic book show. I think I picked up 1.
Yeah.
So just one more time, Jose, just to reiterate, just so everybody knows.
What?
A CGC Avengers number 83 in a 7.5 according to Overstreet is worth what?
As far as Overstreet on this book, well, let me just take a look at my notes on this for the this issue of Avengers 83. Let's take a look at it. Overstreet's at $75 US. Comic Book Realms at $1.75, and eBay they're currently selling for $1.50 to $1.75 US.
Cool.
So,
Okay.
Yeah, it makes sense.
We're within there. Like I said, it's basically a push for me.
Nice. Okay, and as we continue up the grade scale here, the next book Jose got back was Batman number 197.
Just squeaked in there under 200, favorite range 100 to 200 for this title for me. We're entering flavor country, folks, what I call VF and higher from now on.
Yeah.
It's a good book. A couple key features here, of course, for me, the 2 ladies there. It's got the, I believe, the 3rd Silver Age appearance of Catwoman, and it's got the 4th appearance of Batgirl fighting over the prone phone of Batman here. It's a great book. Getting these things now at VF and higher, you're getting into high grade stuff, country. So let's take a look at the CGC Universal Grade Census for this book. There's only 143 copies, believe it or not, 19 of which are 8.0s. As far as in the cycle there, I'm in the top 52%, so this is a medium book. Half the books roughly are higher in grade, half the books are lower in grade as far as the census. But with the census number of 143, it's very extremely low. This is a later Silver Age book. It's from 67. So again, maybe the financial incentive hasn't been there to get this book slabbed, but I think going straightforward. Like I said, this is a key book. I would say not a minor key. I mean, I know these might seem like semantic distinctions, but if you're into Batgirl and or Batwoman, Batgirl and or Catwoman, I mean, this is a book for you from the Silver Age. It's a great cover. So let's break it down. Just one last thing. Fair market value for 8.0s. What are they going for? Okay, according to my notes on the Overstreet Guide, just a little over $103 for this book. Comic Book Realm, almost $298 to be precise. Fair market value, CGC slabbers have been going for about $140, $150 US. So, you know what? I mean, I don't know. That's a little depressing, but I mean, it seems like a conservative number. I think maybe I'm in slightly over, what the fair market value would be currently is, but it's not a huge loss. It's something that might correct itself over time, especially in a popular title like Batman.
Okay, so just to reiterate, Jose, if you were to buy a slabbed 8.0 copy of this book, what are they generally selling for in the market?
As far as currently, as far as going to, I can refer to two kind of guides for slabbed or graded books. You can go GPA or you can go Collect. I usually go to Go Collect because I find it more friendly, and I like some of their information and breakdowns on stuff. So from Go Collect, they're selling for $150 US currently.
Cool.
Yeah.
All right, fantastic book, Jose. Okay, and I was at the Toronto Comic Book Show when you picked up this bad boy.
Or should I say Bad Girl?
Bad Girl.
Supergirl #1, yeah. It includes a backup story featuring that, of course, bewitching magician Zatanna. It's a great Bob Ostner cover, okay, the Supergirl series, which I have not seen, but I've heard that it's gotten very positive feedback. It's on its 3rd season. It's funny for a character that was killed off on the Crisis series from the mid-'80s there by George Perez there. She's had, I think she's on her 7th series as far as the character.
Like that.
So this is the beginning, though.
Your 8th, probably.
I mean, if you're priced out of course, her first appearance in Action Comics, I think it's issue number 252 or something like along those lines. Correct me if I'm wrong. This is a book to pick up. You're right. It's a Toronto Comic Book Show pickup. I'm into it for $160, which is about, again, $120 US. I don't have census data for this book. I guess maybe just because there hasn't been enough, kind of slab books sold recently, or at least where I looked, I didn't find anything as far as to get a good idea, a grasp of what 8.0 CGC copies are going for. But so Overstreet, again, the low number, $56 US for VF 8.0. The Realm, $128 US. Again, being into it for about $120 US, I think that's about fair market value for this book at this time. And like I said, it's got a lot of upside. I mean, I don't know what they're currently dropping for on average, but I mean, I would think it's something above that.
So if we extrapolate, you said in 8.0, the Overstreet Guide is suggesting, what did you say, $60 around?
$56, about $128 US from the Realm.
Yeah.
Try to find that.
Then you add the $60 for the slabbing, and you get
$100,
$1.20 to
$1.30.
$1.30.
So you're basically, I consider what this about a push or better. And like I said, a book that's got a lot of upside. I figure, it's one to, hold.
And my argument is try to go to a con, even raw, try to find it at a cheap price. You can't.
It's an in-demand book. It's made it to a lot of dealers' walls, let's face it. So the news is out on it. It's on its 3rd season. I mean, it's, for as far as female characters, it's one to get.
It's popular.
Fantastic book. Okay, so the very last book of this episode, and I can't think of a better way to end it off than Captain Marvel, number 29, and a pretty good grade, if I have to say so myself.
Yeah, with the exception of one book, I believe the issue number 31, a book we're not featuring here, but that was in the same submission set from these books. I have now the full run of the Captain Marvel that's considered the first Thanos War, and that's issues 25 through 33 from the Volume 1 series.
Someone here a Thanos fan?
Yeah, exactly. This issue, of course, is also a key issue. It's where he gains the powers the cosmic powers that allows him to battle Thanos. It's a nice pickup. I got a decent price on it. I'm into it. Total for $100 Canadian, which is about $75 US. It was a nice pickup, a really good pickup. What can I say? Sometimes you win, and this is one of them. Now, having said that, I mean, I look at this issue number 29 at that grade. In the Overstreet Guide, it's currently, believe it or not, for VF 8.0. $28 US. And on the Realm, it's not much better. It's at $55 US. Now, what can I say? You know, like, so by those measures, this is a loser. I'm in the red on this one, but I don't think so. I mean, I wish I hadn't rushed that last book. I only came back at a fine plus 6.5, so kind of the search goes on in a way, because other than 7.5, everything else in that run is between an 8 and a 9.4 for a high book. So, I mean, I have basically an 8 VF to near mint kind of collection, and with that one fine plus sticking out, I'm gonna have to buy that book over again. But this is a good addition to that set. I'm perfectly happy with it 8.0.
Yeah.
Okay, so if, in case you guys haven't realized, we started at 4. We've been working our way up the grade scale, and we've ended tonight at an 8. And that's where we're going to leave it tonight, but we are by no means done. We're not done by any stretch of the imagination. We've only shown you half of the books that Jose's gotten back from Retro Rare Collectibles. So next week, we are going to continue, and we'll be starting at 8 and continue working up the grade scale. So the books are going to even get more high grade than we showed tonight.
More jealousy to come, absolutely.
Yeah.
Upward and onward.
Upward and onward. The higher grades have yet to be seen. So if you like what you saw, leave a comment, because we love reading them, and we will see you for the next part of Jose's CGC Haul.
Hoi hoi.